There is a part of you that dreams about this, a life where people do not get on your nerves, where stupid comments do not invade your mind, where you do not lose hours of peace replaying a conversation from yesterday. No more. Why did they say that? How could they do this? I cannot believe this person. Just calm, just control, just inner peace. Now let us be honest. You will probably feel anger again in your life. You will probably feel bothered again. You are human. But you can get so good at understanding and handling these reactions that, from the outside, it looks like you almost never get angry. Or at least, you do not stay angry. You do not let it own you. That is what we are going to talk about today. By the way, if you enjoy using English to understand yourself better and build a calmer mind, you can subscribe and keep these reflections close to your day. Let us begin. First, we need to destroy a dangerous fantasy. The idea that a truly evolved person never feels anger. Anger is not a defect. Anger is an emotion. It is part of your nervous system. It evolved to protect your boundaries, give you energy to respond to threats, show you when something feels unfair, disrespectful, or harmful. The problem is not the existence of anger. The problem is how long you stay inside it, what you do when you are inside it, whether you let it drive your behavior. So, when we talk about never getting angry again, we are not talking about becoming a rock with no feelings. We are talking about not being controlled, not being reactive like a puppet, not being constantly irritated by everything and everyone. To do that, we need to understand 3 layers: the trigger, the story, the choice. The trigger is what happens outside. Someone cuts you off in traffic. Your partner forgets something important. A coworker makes a sarcastic comment. A stranger is rude. A family member repeats the same annoying behavior again. The story is what happens inside. What a disrespectful idiot. They never think about me. No one appreciates what I do. People are so selfish. I am always the one who is ignored. The choice is what you do after this story appears. Do you explode? Do you shut down? Do you stay rehearsing the scene in your mind? Do you send a message you regret? Or do you respond from a different place? Most people only see the trigger. They say, "They made me angry. You annoyed me. That person ruined my day." But between the trigger and the emotion, there is a story. And that story is your territory. You may not control the trigger, but you can learn to see and change the story. Let us make this concrete. Imagine you send a message to a friend. They see it. They do not respond. Trigger. Now your mind starts writing a story. They do not care. I knew it. People always ignore me. I am not important. What a disrespectful person. Anger appears. Resentment appears. You feel bothered for hours. But is that story the only possible explanation? Maybe they were busy. Maybe they saw the message and thought, "I will answer later," and then forgot. Maybe they are going through something difficult. I am not saying your story is always wrong. Sometimes people really are being disrespectful. The point is that you rarely know the full story. Your brain fills the gaps with its own patterns. If your pattern is, "People do not care about me," you will interpret many neutral things as attacks. So, one way to never get angry again in a practical sense is not to change all people, but to stop immediately believing every story your mind creates. Every time you feel a wave of anger or irritation, you can ask, What story did I just tell myself about this? Is it the only explanation or just the worst one? This alone reduces the intensity. Now let us talk about ego. A lot of anger and feeling bothered comes from a subtle belief. People should behave the way I think is correct. They should drive like this. They should talk like this. They should answer messages like this. They should share my values. They should read my mind. When they do not, you feel offended. Underneath, there is an expectation. The world should adapt to my preferences. Of course, you do not say this out loud, but your anger shows it. If you want to be less bothered by people, you need to relax your sense of control over them. Other people are not characters in your movie. They are living their own movie, with their own fears, their own habits, their own traumas, their own level of awareness. Sometimes they are tired. Sometimes they are selfish. Sometimes they are just distracted. You cannot control that. You can only control your boundaries, your distance, your response. So instead of, how dare they, you can practice thinking, this is how they are right now. What do I want to do with this reality? Sometimes you accept. Sometimes you say no. Sometimes you walk away. Sometimes you have a direct conversation. But you do not spend hours burning inside because the world did not follow your emotional rules. Now, let us look at something uncomfortable. Anger often protects something more vulnerable underneath. Shame, fear, grief, feeling small, feeling powerless. It is easier to feel angry than to feel hurt. For example, your partner forgets something important. You explode. How could you? You never care. But inside, maybe the silent truth is, I am scared that I am not important to you. I feel invisible. I am afraid of being abandoned. This is more painful to touch, so anger comes to the surface. If you want to be less reactive, you need to become curious about what is under your anger. Next time you feel very angry, after the storm calms a little, ask yourself, if anger is the armor, what is it trying to protect right now? It might be a need for respect, a need for safety, a fear of rejection, an old wound from your past being touched. When you see this, something changes. You stop seeing the other person as a pure enemy. You start seeing that your reaction is also about you. This does not mean other people are innocent angels. It means you take responsibility for your side of the fire. Now let us talk about practical tools. First tool, space. You almost never regret waiting a bit before reacting. You often regret reacting immediately. When you feel anger rising, your nervous system is activated. Your heart rate goes up. Your body prepares for fight. In that state, your brain wants speed, not wisdom. So a basic discipline for never getting angry again in behavior is delay your reaction. Not your feeling, your reaction. You can say, I am feeling angry. I need a moment. Let us talk about this later. I am going to walk for 5 minutes. If it is a message, you can write it and not send it. Read it later. Then decide. This pause is not weakness. It is strength. It is the difference between a child and an adult in emotional terms. Second tool, body. Anger is not just a thought. It is a physical state. If you only argue with it in your head, you often stay stuck. Move your body, walk fast, do some push-ups, breathe deeply, slowly. Inhale through the nose. Exhale longer than you inhale. This tells your nervous system, we are not in mortal danger. When your body calms a bit, your mind becomes less dramatic. Third tool, boundaries. Some people make you angry again and again because there is no boundary. You keep giving them unlimited access. You answer every message. You say yes to every request. You tolerate every disrespect. Then you explode. If you want to be less angry, you may need to be more assertive earlier. Anger is sometimes your system saying, "This is not okay. You waited too long to protect yourself." Instead of exploding every few months, you can practice small boundaries more often. For example, "I do not like being spoken to in that tone. I am not able to do this right now. If you continue shouting, I will leave the conversation." This is not about controlling them. It is about controlling your participation. Fourth tool, perspective. Ask yourself, will this matter in a week? Will this matter in a year? If the answer is no, you can choose not to give it so much of your energy. Someone on the internet said something stupid. A driver behaved like a child. A stranger was rude. You will never see them again. Do they deserve one more hour of your life in your mind? Probably not. You can say to yourself, I am not renting my mind to random people for free. Fifth tool, humility. Sometimes you are the one who made a mistake, communicated badly, forgot something, reacted without information. If you always assume that if you are angry you must be right, you will stay stuck. Strong people can say, I overreacted. I misunderstood. I am sorry. This lowers the inner heat. Now you might be thinking, this all sounds good, but some people are really toxic. Am I supposed to just be peaceful while they walk all over me? No, not at all. Being less angry does not mean accepting abuse. You can gently remove yourself from certain environments. You can reduce contact. You can protect yourself. But you do that from a place of clarity, not blind rage. Anger says, something is wrong. Wisdom decides, what am I going to do about it? The goal is not to be a doormat. The goal is to be a calm warrior, able to act, able to say no, able to walk away, without burning yourself from the inside every day. Now I want to give you a simple sentence you can use when someone bothers you deeply. Instead of repeating, I cannot believe they did this, you can try. This is who they are showing me they are right now. Not who you wish they were. Not who they could be in theory. Who they are showing you. Then ask, given who they are, what is my responsibility to myself here? Maybe it is lowering expectations, changing how much you share, ending a certain dynamic, or simply not taking their opinion so personally. You cannot control their behavior. You can control the level of power you give them. To close, let us bring everything together in a simple way. You will feel anger sometimes. You will feel bothered sometimes. But you do not need to let those emotions define your day, control your mouth, steal your sleep. Between what people do and how you live inside, there is space. In that space you can question your story, protect your boundaries, use your body to calm down, choose your response with more awareness. You do not need to become perfect. You just need to become a little less reactive each time. One pause, one deep breath, one conversation done later instead of now. Over time, it will look, even to you, like you almost never get truly angry. You are rarely bothered for long. You keep your power close to you instead of giving it away to every loud driver, rude stranger, or distracted friend. That is not magic. That is emotional training, and it is available to you. See you in the next video.